like it, but Anna Sui didn't, so we're going to cut ours off. But you could, you know, have a point down there if you wanted to. Our goal, though, is for the center back edge to finish here. Okay, so we kind of have to look that all of this other stuff that was happening, all of this stuff here is hanging below where that center back seam is. So we're going to get rid of a whole portion here. Okay, you could freehand it, or we could use our little tool here to create another curve. You could also use like a very form curve that had a curve.
How about the French curve?
You could use a French curve, absolutely. Absolutely, and I'm trying to remember how I did this before. I practiced this, I promise.
Do you have to move the paper?
No, it's more,
Do you like stab down on the fabric under?
well, what it is we need to find a pivot point. And I think I had done a small radius down here, and after I looked at the fit sample, it was hanging down even further than I wanted it to hang down. So I'm going to do a larger radius, and what it kind of is you pick a dimension that you want your circle. So if you have a small radius, it would make a very abrupt little curve. If you have a larger radius, it'll smooth out even more. So if you've taken 115, you know what I'm talking about, the curving corners kind of situation. So you just need to figure out how curved you want it. I think I did, oh, I wrote it down, yay! I did 5 inches, and I think I wanted it a little bit more curved. So if I want to do a 6-inch radius, what I'm going to do is kind of measure in and triangulate and find out where that the circle center might be. So we were imagine like a dinner plate sitting here, kind of over here, and we want to lop off a corner. I need to find where the center of that would be. So if I want to try 6, because 5 was a little too curvy, and it was actually kind of hard to narrow around that really tight curve. What I'm going to do is I'm going to measure up from the hem about here, kind of halfway along the curve of this little quadrant, and I'm going to give myself an idea of where 6 inches would be, which is an inch away from that cut edge, because we had 6 and a half, right? So about an inch away from the cut edge there. Now I want to find 6 inches away from the cut edge here, because if we want that circle to rotate from this edge to this edge, I need to find 6 inches in 2 directions to know where they crisscross. Okay, so I'm going to measure up, and 6 inches from that cut edge would get me kind of here, and I know I need to be an inch away from that cut edge.
So Ms. Gannon,
Yeah.
when you're doing that, are you measuring like
From
an
I
inch
need
down,
it to be from
including the seam allowance.
seam allowance.
Okay.
Seam allowance, yeah. So I'm measuring from seam allowance, and I'm kind of rotating up because I know 6 inches is 1 inch away from that cut edge. I'm thinking I want to go here. And a lot of it's sort of trial and error. You might, like, look how many lines I have drawn in before I was happy. So just mess around until it looks right. There is no real thing, like this isn't a textbook thing. It's just, how do you get a curve there that looks pretty good? We could use this tool, or we could use any of these tools to do it. But I thought since it's circular, it would make sense to use a circle to round it out. All right, so put my push pin. Let's test out that little spot that I found. Oh, wrong way. Push pin goes in there, and I'm going to use the hole at number 1. Yeah, I think that worked out. And if there's any weird little blending, I can just blend that out. Okay, so that makes sense. I needed 6 inches this way, and I needed 6 inches this way. And that would give me a nice smooth.
How much do we need along the straight edge? A cup, like an inch and a half or something?
Here?
Yeah.
You just need seam allowance.
Just seam. Okay.
Yeah, you just need seam allowance. So it can abruptly curve away from that 1/2 inch seam allowance. And it probably should, because if it's hanging down too far, it's gonna sag down below the skirt. All right, so then this guy would get mounted on brown paper. You ultimately will want to have notches to know where the side seam is, notches or maybe even a punch hole to know where this little corner is, where it turns. Because it's going to go around the front waist, down this side. It's nice to have a notch to know where to put that. And it's really helpful to know where to put that. But because this fabric is going to stretch and you're not going to know, is the side seam going to land exactly in the bias or is the corner going to land on the straight grain, you're not going to really know how it's going to behave. So I personally would wait until a fit sample to put those notches in. I would actually cut this out.